You're a bit of a mystery, though, in the pilot. We don't really get to learn much about her. So what can you tell me from what you know so far?
You know, the one thing about the show is that you start to figure out that all of these characters have a bit of a con going on. So as much as the one main con is in, you know, the pilot, there's so much more going on behind the scenes, and you start to really see all the characters develop. And it's great for Kat. You get to see where she comes from and her dynamic with her family. You find out that she's pretty much the thread that's holding her family together. She's kind of the mom. And you see her relationship grow with her daughter, and her ex-husband comes into play. So you get to kind of see where she comes from and kind of understand why she went after Bob.
Is the ex-husband going to be a friend or foe, though?
A bit of a foe, yes, yes. But he definitely adds a little bit of a twist in there, so it's good.
Do you think that she might soon start to catch on to what's going on with Bob, or do you think that's almost detrimental to the show if she does catch on too soon?
I think if she catches on too soon, or Lindsay catches on too soon, I think that it would really be hard on the show, because it is a through line. I mean, honestly, that is, you know, it's not going to be necessarily in every episode the most important thing that they're, you know, trying to balance, but it's definitely the through line. And so I think that eventually these women aren't stupid. I think that after you meet Harrison, her ex-husband, you start to realize kind of why she's maybe putting a little bit of a blinder on, you know? So.
Yeah. Bad relationships in the past can occasionally blind you to what's going on right in front of your face.
Exactly, especially when that person seems just so normal and down to earth. You don't even want to ask questions.
And he has explanations for everything, like we saw in the pilot. He does definitely have...
He's good at that.
He's got answers everywhere.
I know.
It's not there.
He's a good con artist.
I mean, I guess that's a good thing, considering that's part of the point of the show.
Exactly.
I mean, though, it does seem that the love triangle is definitely a huge part of the pilot, which we've seen so far. Do you kind of have a sense, like, the writers are leaning more towards writing towards one couple so far in the season?
Not necessarily. I think that it's been a vast mixture. I mean, it almost feels like two different shows, because, you know, they do the Midland stuff and they do the Houston stuff. And maybe a little mixture at some point. But it's the characters are so different and the relationships are so different that I think it's important to keep both of them, you know, in sync.
Yeah. Have you heard from the writers whether there's any plans for you and Eloise to share any scenes together?
Possibly.
Though I'd have to imagine it couldn't be with James there as well, because that would be
maybe.
that would be an interesting thing to see him try to con his way out of two women.
Exactly.
Right there in front of them.
Just read a very fascinating script, so you will get to see it.
And what script number might that be?
Script number 4.
Ah, fascinating.
So yes.
Starting off right and going.
Yep, exactly. That's the thing. It's like it just hit the ground running, and I mean the writing has been so amazing and unbelievable. I'm like, I can't believe, how are they going to do that? Oh my God, how are they going to do that? Every episode is more and more convoluted and crazy.
I mean, at the end of the pilot, there's a little bit of twist also, which kind of amps things up to another level. When you read that, were you a little bit insulted for your character? Just like, excuse me, wait a second here.
The only thing I said when I saw the pilot, I was like, why is her ring bigger than mine? Like, that's not right. I mean, that's the rich one.
Yeah, you would think that if one of them was to get a bigger ring, it would be you. I mean, because even if he couldn't afford it, she could afford it herself. Be like, look, you need to upgrade it just a little bit. Here's a little bit of money. Or Daddy would pay a little bit, maybe.
Right, of course.
He wants the best for his daughter, we'd imagine.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So do you think that that added layer of that marriage will draw attention to your relationship with Bob?
Oh, absolutely. Because you'll get to see why he's with both women, and you understand why he's with both women. They're both amazing, smart, interesting women, but they're so different. You know, I think the relationship with Kat and Bob is they have more of the mature relationship, more of the married life, more of, you know, this is kind of the way it is. There's still romance and it's still sexy, but it's very mature, and I think that the relationship with Lindsay is more, it's almost like first love-ish, you know what I mean? It's almost, you know, that kind of like high school romance, feels like.
He's getting something different from both of them, which
absolutely
is why you basically need to move and just become you know, live in a house together, the three of you. This is
I
what
think
season 10
Jimmy
should
would be very excited about that.
Is he pitching this
He
to
does
the
get
writers
very
already?
excited when Eloise and I hang out. He's like, you guys are hanging out? What are you guys doing? You guys hanging out? Okay. He just really likes them together.
He's like, no, wait, how is this going to happen on the show now? He's like,
Right.
I mean, you figure there are ways to make it so the three of you can be in scenes together, whether it's like a dream scene, because you think his conscience might be popping up occasionally, like, really? You're telling her you love her, you're marrying her, and wait, did this not mean anything to you, sir?
Right. Well, I can't say anything. I want to so badly, but I can't.
We'll have to talk later in the season when all of this is out in the air, because then
Exactly.
we'll talk before episode 5. Then we'll be
Perfect.
able to talk.
Perfect.
We'll be all caught up.
Exactly.